Welcome to Storm Shelter Cinema at Arlington High School, the movie review show where we are finding the answer to film's ultimate equation. Today, we'll be reviewing The Theory of Everything, released in 2014, directed by James Marsh. I'm Jocelyn Hayes, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Savannah Gray.
The Theory of Everything covers the love story between Stephen Hawking and Jane Wilde. This movie starts with Stephen Hawking beginning college and meeting Jane. He soon finds out that at 21 he has developed motor neuron disease. Although the disease has given him a short clock, he doesn't let this stop him or Jane from breaking ground in medicine and science.
The implicit meaning of this film is that there will always be hope no matter what challenges you are faced with. There will always be a way to keep succeeding and pushing yourself to achieve your goals and beyond. We can see this through Stefan's struggle with his illness and how, despite his limitations, he went on to become one of the greatest minds the world has ever seen.
I think the implicit meaning of the film is no matter what battles you face, don't stop trying. This goes well with the fact that no matter how difficult it got for him and Jane, they didn't let that stop them from making history with each other.
This movie's set was stunning. It was a delight to watch with serene gardens and homey rooms. Every piece of set fit right and blended together to create a magnificent atmosphere. My favorite scenes took place in lovely castles and churches simply due to the inspiring backdrops.
The formal element that I love would be the lighting of this movie, especially with what Jocelyn brings up. The lighting brings the set to life. Without the warm lighting of the Ferris wheel or the cool tones in the streets, we wouldn't have visual effects to go along with this love story.
Personally, I can see the importance in this story. It's an inspiring and motivating story that's grounded in realism, but this movie did not match the tone of the story it was attempting to tell. Toward the end of the story, I just felt confused because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be feeling in that moment. Was I supposed to be happy that everything worked out? Was I supposed to be sad that the main couple wasn't together anymore? Am I supposed to be proud or pitiful of Stefan? Even between its conflicting emotions, the plot was rather bland and predictable. I also just despise math, a lot. I didn't get any of the math jokes, and it made me feel left out. Overall, I think the story would have been better as a book, in all honesty.
So,
you got any thoughts?
I didn't like the movie either. I didn't think it was a good, I like romance movies. I think I like the stories of romance movies, but I don't think that this covered that well because it moved too fast. Like, they got married in the first 30 minutes, and I feel like we could have had a more spread out, meeting of them and everything. What do you think?
I thought it moved too slow. That movie was 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
For that little to happen, in my opinion. Again, I like the point you brought up. They get married in the first 30 minutes, and that sort of doesn't set up well for the rest of the film because that's the interesting part for most of the audience. And to cut that out of the way early is kind of rough, and it made the rest of the movie feel really bland. There wasn't really any stakes at any point, I thought.
Yeah, I see where you're coming with that. I think definitely they could have shortened it because 2 hours is very long for a romance movie.
For that movie.
So, and literally all the action happened, which I've seen in more recent movies or more in the past years that the action moves really fast in the beginning and then in the middle you're kind of left just sitting there bored because all the interesting stuff has already happened. But so my serious question for you is, do you think this movie was an accurate portrayal of Stephen Hawking's love story?
I didn't know very much about it before watching the movie, so I don't have a ton to say on the matter, but I would assume so. I mean, it felt pretty real. The acting was brilliant, and they made it feel real and well portrayed, and I can't imagine it being shown off in a way that wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
My secret question for you is, what was the most impactful scene in the movie for you? What scene made you think the most?
I think the most impactful scene for me would have to be him taking care of his child. I think that definitely shows because at that point he was starting to develop the motor neuron disease, but he still stuck it out for Jane and his child, and I think that kind of shows his character personally, and I think that helps overall.
Yeah, it's heartwarming. It's a good story, not very entertaining though. I think is our main takeaway from this, huh?
Yeah, I think it definitely, the story could have been a little better and a more smoother and a lot shorter movie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Storm Shelter Cinema. We reviewed The Theory of Everything, released in 2014, directed by James Marsh. I'm Savannah Gray, and I did not like this movie. My co-host Jocelyn Hayes also did not like this movie. That's 2 thumbs down. We'll see you next time at the movies.